It's all-time touchdown thrills, the most spectacular moments in football history. Brought to you by the Parker Pen Company, makers of the world-famous Parker pens, the only pens with the amazing electro-polished points. They're the smoothest writing pens ever made. And I'm your host, Ed Torgeson. And now let's watch Parker's all-time touchdown thrills. 3 tumultuous hours in the golden era of sports. The 1926 Army-Navy game. 110,000 see a do-or-die midi squad batter to the cadet goal line and then into pay dirt. Navy leads 14-7. But this is the day of light horse Harry Wilson, one of Army's greatest broken field runners. The cadets are back in the game 14-14. Remember Chris Cagle? Only a freshman in 1926. He shows what it takes to become a 3-time All-American. Army 21, Navy 14. And then pandemonium. The beaten middies strike back. The most hard-fought contest in Army-Navy history ends 21-21. A different kind of gridiron history is written in the Rose Bowl 3 years later. 70,000 unsuspecting fans see these spectacular runs fall short of their marks as Georgia Tech and the University of California stalemate each other through most of the first half. These fans are unaware that in a few moments they'll witness the play of the decade. And here it starts, beginning with this Tech fumble, recovered by Roy Riegels of California. He's blocked. He reverses and reverses again. Now watch. Excited, confused, Riegels runs the wrong way, starting for his own goal line. Riegels' teammates try to overtake him. At his own 3-yard line, Riegels realizes his mistake. But too late. Down he goes under a flood of Tech tacklers. A desperate punt is blocked, and Georgia scores. Riegels' immortal wrong way run loses the game. At Notre Dame, the most cherished memory is not of any one game, but of a personality, a Norwegian immigrant they called Rockne.
Starting out this fall, every man's going to have an equal opportunity to make this team. I don't care 2 cents whether you're black or white, Jew, Catholic, or Protestant. The best men are going to make this club. Hey, size. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. 5. 2 or 3 married men have with families. Up.
And they remember Rockne's last big game against highly regarded Penn in 1930. Marty Brill's breakaway run is the beginning of a scoring sensation. As if they knew Rock wouldn't be back next season, even the subs perform like dedicated warriors. This 67-yard sprint is by second-string Paul O'Connor. Attacks like this by jumping Joe Savoldi completely demoralize the once powerful Penn line. Rockne's strangely inspired squad gains a staggering 557 yards to Penn 73 and wins 60-20. Football's Ivy League, steeped in gridiron history and tradition. And the man of the hour today is Yale's beloved All-American Albie playing his last 60 minutes for Yale in this game against the Bulldogs' arch-rival, Harvard. Yale's ball in the closing minutes of a tense, scoreless battle. Albie's pass misfires, and the Crimson of Harvard take over at midfield. Opportunity knocks one last time for Albie as Harvard's punt is blocked. Albie passes, and it's good. Seconds to go. Booth drop kicks, the last play of his career, and it wins for Yale 3-0. Watch Southern Cal hit the Irish line in the 1936 game of the year. Quick action on an intended lateral fools the South Bend squad, and the Trojans are away to a 7-0 lead. In the shadow of the Trojan goalpost, Bob Wilkie throws what he hopes will be the game-tying pass. Bud Langley intercepts, and there's no stopping him. He's off on a 99-yard dash, the fate of unwary officials notwithstanding. Trailing 13-6 in the final minutes of the game, the desperate Irish launch one of their notorious comeback drives. But is there time? The clock's running out. With seconds remaining, Wilkie's pass hits the target. The most unforgettable finish in Irish Trojan competition, 13-13. Three years later, the Sugar Bowl at New Orleans. Texas Christian with slinging Davey O'Brien meets powerful Carnegie Tech, and all eyes are on the tiny TCU quarterback. Passes like these are only one of his specialties. Davey receives, too. Watch him intercept this Tech pass. As you can see, this pocket-sized All-American can also run the ball. But even that isn't all. Here, slinging Davey's kick wins for Texas 15-7. Number 98, Tommy Harmon, spins like a dancing dervish through a dazed Harvard line. Watch Tommy as he picks his way through the Crimson defense for these two successive touchdowns. And you'll know what the Wolverine opponents were up against when the Michigan Flyer was in action. Opponents out to stop Harmon could be stunned by another Michigan ace, Westfall. A typical Westfall to Harmon scoring play. Number 98 again. In the all-time record, Harmon is third in yardage gained. His passing helped, too. The Wolverines took this one 26-0. Unsuspecting Notre Dame, unbeaten in 4 seasons, seems to be having things its own way with Southern Methodist as Bill Whitekins scores an early touchdown. Notice how even Lady Luck is siding with the Irish as this Bob Williams pass is bobbled directly into the hands of Ernie Zaleski. Playing for injured Doak Walker, sophomore Kyle Rote elects to run, and at this point the wary Frank Leahy senses trouble. Rote's unforeseen running and passing attacks pay off, and SMU, a 28-point underdog, is suddenly gunning for the upset of the decade. Rote is not the only surprise sprung on Notre Dame. Sophomore Johnny Champion shows unreported talent as he gathers in Rote's pass and totes it down to the Notre Dame 2-yard line. Sitko, Hart, and Spaniel line up against Rote. Still, he plunges through to cut the Irish lead to 6 points. In the final period, Rote's bewildering running attack, still unchecked, again brings SMU pounding to the Irish doorstep. Once more, Rote pushes through the vaunted Leahy lineman, tying Notre Dame 20-20 and turning the bowl into a wild bedlam. But in the final minutes, Notre Dame depth tells. Bill Barrett scores, and the Irish escape a Texas scorcher 27-20. Here is a touchdown thriller for the books. The Cleveland Browns trying for the first championship in the National Football League. This touchdown puts the Los Angeles Rams ahead of the Clevelanders 14-7. Otto Graham in action, getting his pass away under heavy pressure. Lavelli takes it, putting the All-America Conference champs into scoring position. Paul Brown's famous passing team clicks again. The Browns finish a rugged first half, trailing the Los Angeles Rams 14-13. The real excitement commences in the third period when the Browns' Marion Motley runs into serious trouble deep in his own territory. And now watch how suddenly the ball changes hands and changes the score. Trailing 28-27, the Browns begin a menacing aerial attack, but there's only 1 minute left in the game. On Graham's magic wings, the Browns reach the Rams' 11, but with only 45 seconds to go. Graham moves the ball into position for the golden toe grocer. Then this storybook finish as Lou's field goal wins for the Browns 30-28. Football history on rain-soaked Franklin Field, Philadelphia. Red Grange defeats Pennsylvania. The ball carrier in these rare scenes is the galloping ghost himself. In this, his first appearance in the East, Red piles up 363 out of a total of 450 yards for Illinois and scores 3 touchdowns. After this victory, the fabulous Grange was carried 4 miles on the shoulders of his admirers, offered a $120,000 a year job, and urged to run for Congress. Yes, the old-fashioned newsreel camera adds to his speed in these scenes, but can't detract from his fame as the greatest man who ever wore moleskins. Now let's look at another gridiron immortal of the 20s, Yale's Albie, an unknown sophomore making his debut against powerful Army. Though the Cadets are a 2-to-1 favorite, the mighty Atom ignores the odds as he forges to a touchdown. But Albie's opposition is untiring. All-American Chris Cagle snares a Yale pass and runs it back for an easy score. But this is Albie's day. The 5.5-foot quarterback scores his 3rd touchdown as Yale wins 21-13, and Albie's fantastic gridiron career is underway. All-time touchdown thrills in Yankee Stadium, the 20th meeting of Notre Dame and Army. The Cadets are talking Rose Bowl, and it appears Jack Buckler's attack is going to make the Irish an easy stepping stone. The Army leads 12-0. Still trying, but scoreless in the final period, Hunk Anderson's Irishmen seem destined for their 6th defeat of the season. But unexpectedly, Nick Lucas bowls back the Army line and scores. Next, Buddy Bonar clicks with a drop kick, and 78,000 spectators begin holding their breath. Army attempts a punt from behind its own goal line. But these are the playing days of Moose Krause. He and Wayne Milner pounce on the ball for a thunderous upset. Notre Dame 13, Army 12. But the miracle upset of Army was only a preliminary to the granddaddy of all Notre Dame thrillers, the 1935 contest with Ohio State. Intercepting a long aerial from Francis Layden, a pair of Francis Schmidt's fast-moving Buckeyes make early grief for the Irish. At halftime, the sorry Hoosiers trail 13-0. Late in the second half, still scoreless Notre Dame unlimbers a secret weapon called Andy Pilney. He hits Gall on the Buckeye 1 to begin 15 of the most sensational minutes in football. On the very next play, the Irish are back in the game as Wayne Milner cracks through a stubborn Ohio line. But the placement is missed, leaving Notre Dame behind 13-6. With only 2 minutes to go, Pilney is back again looking for a receiver. He chooses Layden, who carries an Ohio defenseman over the line with him. But again, the placement is missed, and Notre Dame's last chance comes on a Buckeye fumble. With less than a minute to go, and all Columbus in an uproar, Pilney elects to run it. He escapes for 32 priceless yards, but on the tackle, an injury puts him out of the game. Bill Shakespeare replaces Pilney. 30 seconds remain. He takes his time, locates Milner in the end zone, fires a pass, and hits him. Notre Dame scores twice in 2 minutes to win 18-13. Rose Bowl, 1935. The startled Indians of Stanford are nearly drowned in this aerial hosing by Dixie Howell and Don Hudson. 80,000 see Alabama's Rockne system spring Dixie through the Indian line and bring the Crimson Tide from behind. But Dixie has just opened his bag of tricks. Now watch him turn loose his talent for broken field running. Look at him go, 67 yards to pay dirt. Don Hudson sets a Rose Bowl record for passes received as he snares this one to put Alabama in the driver's seat 28-13. Rose Bowl, 1939. Duke meets Southern California. The Blue Devils from Carolina come to Pasadena with a perfect season record, undefeated, untied, and unscored upon. And the Iron Dukes, shown on offense here, mean to keep their record perfect at the expense of the Bears. Their break comes with a little more than a minute to go. Tony Rotha splits the uprights with a field goal, the first score of the game. Only 3 points, but with seconds remaining, it looks like the margin of victory. Then Coach Howard Jones uncorks Doyle Nave, fourth string unknown, who, it develops, has an uncanny ability to find Al Kruger with crucial passes. With the end of the season less than a half minute away, the Nave-Kruger razzle-dazzle ruins Duke's perfect season. Bears 7, Duke 3. The Texas Longhorns challenge the Southern Methodist Mustangs for the Southwest Conference title. Ben Tompkins sets up a Texas TD with a pass, then hands off to Byron Townsend, who goes over the Mustang goal line for the first score of the game. But SMU's Fred Benner strikes back with a rifle pass to Ben White, who laterals to killer Kyle Rote in a sparkling play. Rote goes over to tie it up 7-7. Texas goes to the air again. Tompkins gets protection, lets it go to the SMU 14, where Ben Proctor snags the ball while falling. On the next play, Byron Townsend again hits the Mustang line for the second Texas touchdown. Texas leads, favored SMU 14-7. And in the third period of this thriller, SMU Benners passes to Champion. The Mustang catcher snags the ball and is knocked out of bounds on the Texas 2-yard line. First and goal to go. Kyle Rote takes the snap and climbs over right tackle for the TD. The score is tied again, 14-14. In the last period, Benner's pass is intercepted by Shands of Texas, who rips back to the SMU 10. Texas ace passer Tompkins hits Ben Proctor once again in the end zone, and the stampeding Steers rumble over the Mustangs 23-20. Navy's quarterback Bob Zastro gets his underdog team rolling in the second period with a pass to Art Sundry on Army's 15. Then Zastro whips through the cadet line, and he's over. Navy leads the favorite Army team 7-0. Near the end of the first half, Navy moves again. On a tricky reverse, Bill Powers turns Army's right end for 18 yards to the cadet 30. Once more, Navy's Zastro goes back to pass. The Army men are on top of him. There it goes. Jim Bollinger, with 2 men on his back, brings it down for Navy's second touchdown. Look at those middies cheer. Only seconds left. Army on the Navy 3-yard line with their first TD in sight. Blake's pass is intercepted by Navy's John Gursky on the goal line. Time has run out, and Navy has upset the Army 14-2. The Kentucky Wildcats, led by ace passer Babe Perilli, take on the undefeated Oklahoma Juggernaut in the Sugar Bowl. Perilli's first pass into the end zone is good. Kentucky leads 7-0. But the powerful Sooners strike back hard as Billy Vessels gets off for a sparkling run. The play, however, is nullified. If Kentucky can hold Oklahoma, they will have beaten a team that has won 32 straight. In the second quarter, Perilli again takes to the air, setting Oklahoma on its ears and the Sugar Bowl on its heels. A long pass by Perilli is good to Al Bruno, who scampers to the 1-foot line to set up another Kentucky touchdown. Will those Wildcats outfight the Goliath Oklahoma team? Kentucky, Jamerson makes it. Kentucky, on its way to a spectacular upset, leads 13-0. In the second half, Oklahoma picks up steam, but they're cooled off by fighting Kentucky. Even a desperation pass failed as Kentucky hangs on to win 13-7 to hand Oklahoma its first defeat in 32 games. All-time touchdown thrills were brought to you by the Parker Pen Company. This is Ed Torgeson asking you to visit your pen dealers this week. There you'll see the whole new line of Parker pens, the only pens with the amazing electro-polished points. They're the smoothest writing pens ever made. Spend only what you wish. You can still give a Parker pen name for the perfect gift.